Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the First News newspaper. The major story here says, Adamawa INEC Rights Police demands Resident Electoral Commissioner's prosecution as Inspector General of Police tasks investigative team to expedite action. Assures Commission all those involved will be punished. All the details on the front page of the First News newspaper. To the Nation newspaper now, Nigerian students lament ordeal in crisis-torn Sudan. Nigerian students lament ordeal in crisis-torn Sudan. It's dangerous to evacuate over 5,500 citizens without clearance, says federal government. US, UK, France, Russia move out nationals. All the details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And to this Nigerian newspaper, still talking Sudan, federal government sets up evacuation committee. Federal government sets up evacuation committee, and some writer here says as US, UK, others rescue citizens. You find all the details on the front page of this Nigeria newspaper. To the Punch newspaper now. Sudan conflict. Government seeks Egypt support to rescue 5,500 Nigerians by road. Government seeks Egypt support to rescue 5,500 Nigerians by road. And the writers here say federal government warns as Nigerian students pay $100 for dangerous road. We are waiting for Sudanese government to provide safe corridor for evacuation. The minister speaking there. And to the Abuja Inquirer now, still talking about the Sudan crisis. Evacuation risky now, federal government tells Nigerian students. And some writers here, Nance begs a $200 evacuation fee. US, UK, airlift embassy staff. Mike.
All right, I have Daily Trust here also beaming searchlight on the same thing. Sudan crisis is the focus here. Federal government begins evacuation of stranded Nigerians tomorrow. And that's what Daily Trust has. 5,500 waiting for government action. And students move to Ethiopia, cry for rescue. Airlines bypass airspace. Right, you find all this on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nigerian News Direct is next. It's still on the same issue, Sudan crisis. Federal government to evacuate 5,500 Nigerians by road. A mass evacuation through Egyptian border, Port Sudan and Ethiopian border. Nigerians stranded in Sudan giving us sleepless night. The presidency is saying this. Remain calm and indoors. We are working for your safety. Federal government tells Nigerian students in Sudan. That's what News Direct has. From there, let's go to Daily Independent. Okay. Daily Independent moves away from there now. Rising inflation may hamper incoming government's economic plan. All right, rising inflation may hamper incoming government's economic plan. That's what Daily Independent has. From there, let's go to The Guardian newspaper. The Guardian says rising poverty costs dampen eSIM adoption impact on Nigeria's card production. Okay. That's what The Guardian there has. Business Day is the next one, and we're looking at the big story there on Business Day. And it says, trillion naira government schemes struggle to curb poverty. Trillion naira government schemes struggle to curb poverty. Okay, that's what he has there. Analyzing right from the days of the poverty alleviation program to Shorepay to N-Power and all of the others put together since several administrations ago. That's what Business Day has. From there, let's go to Leadership newspaper. Leadership says, amid low patronage, mass metering program in limbo as manufacturers divest. Okay? Amid low patronage, mass metering program in limbo as manufacturers divest. Blame inflation, operational costs for high electricity tariff, poor service. And only 5.93 million Nigerian households are metered. That's what the report here has. And Nigerians have been calling on government to patronize made in Nigeria companies to bridge the gap. From there, let's go to Vanguard newspaper, and it says global competitiveness over 30 taxes choke industries in Nigeria. Global competitiveness over 30 taxes choke industries in Nigeria. 17 bills on more levies pending in National Assembly, and taxes above global average of 23.37%. SMEs lose 9% of yearly income, and stakeholders chart way forward. Okay, all this on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Business AM is next, and it says Nigeria's construction sector put on the spot over building collapse, and experts weigh in over worrisome levels. Excuse me, that's what Business AM has. The last one we're looking at now is the Nature News. Nature News is focusing on Earth Day. It says environmentalists, experts advocate change of behavior to save the planet. Okay, Veronica, that's what we have.
Mike, let's talk Sudan. Whether we like it or not, we have to look into this matter because we have over 5,000 persons trapped, I'll use that word, in Sudan as we speak because of the fighting that has been going on for the past 2 weeks. And the intensity of the fighting, we're seeing the dimension it's taking. And according to the UN, over 400 persons have been killed. That's the ones that are reported. And some Nigerian students are trapped in that situation. They're talking about how harrowing their experiences have been with regards to what they are seeing on the streets. And some of them have to just lock themselves up in their various locations, and they have been calling on government to come look at how they can evacuate them out of there. We have seen the US, the UK, swinging to action to pick up their nationals out of there, even working overnight to ensure the safety of their citizens. But Nigeria is saying that because of the situation on the ground, that they can't just go into the country, bring them out as it is. They have to get approvals from the government of Sudan, and to also look at a safe corridor that can be provided to evacuate the students out of there.
It's a very challenging time for the federal government, and one can actually understand how the issues are going. Now, it is, if you make comparison between British, American, French nationals,
yes,
and other African countries, it is easier because it is easy. An American is easily identifiable among Africans, among Africans. So the point there is, when they come, those who are the warring factions within Sudan, when they see foreign nationals, it is easy to say, okay, these people are not part of whatever. We'll give them the safe corridor to move, whatever the thing is. But we've seen French, when French nationals were being evacuated in the initial stage, we saw that they were attacked, which led to the issue of government deciding, okay, we need to rethink how we're going to ensure that Nigerians are evacuated from Sudan. Now, a video went viral, I think a few days ago. There was a video of, although it's not verifiable, but it was said to be a video of Sudanese, attacking foreigners who are in Sudan. Although we couldn't independently verify that the authenticity or originality of that video. Yeah. But when that video went viral and it went round, a lot of persons became more apprehensive because it was a gruesome murder of young people on the streets. It was in fact, the sight was a very gory one. So that sent a lot of concerns amongst young people who were seeing what was happening. Now, there are 3 areas that are being considered. Recall that airplanes were burnt. Part of the airports were destroyed. So there is no flight in that regard right now, except you're going to use helicopters. Now, there are 3 routes in fact, there are 4 routes that are being considered, and that is to the Egyptian border, Port Sudan, which is to the Red Sea, and then the Ethiopian border. Now, there's another border is the Chadian border. However, the Chadian border, a lot of things are considered in that corridor because of the Boko Haram effect if you're going to bring people from that area. So it is easier to say, okay, let's
look at Egypt.
Let's look at Egypt or look at Ethiopia, and then see how we can evacuate Nigerians to those areas and then fly them back home. These are all the things that are being considered. Now, the other twist there is that, recall that the National Association of Nigerian Students had issued out a statement, a circular, saying that the students there should pay some amount of money, $100 or $200,
yes.
you know, as the case may be. That came from when they felt that government was not moving fast enough. But we've seen the report from the government saying, students, please disregard that. Because when government to government is working, it is more effective than students.
When you want to take an independent
taking an independent decision on that. And if you're going to compare how effective this what do you call it? These decisions are, or this action is going to be, of course, you would trust that if government works close with government, with the Sudanese government, Nigerian government work closely with Sudanese government, you can get more assistance in creating a corridor for Nigerians. Recall that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, announced that he had spoken to someone in the presidency and that they had applied formally and they were being considered to be given
a safe corridor.
A safe corridor with the help of Sudanese military officials. So it's a challenging time for the federal government and for Nigerians, and only one can only imagine what students will be going through. Recall that the Ukrainian matter was still at hand.
Yes,
right?
Still there. Yeah.
Good. So, but we saw how countries went in to evacuate their citizens through Poland and through other borders, and as the case may be. This is another situation right now. So only those who are there, like the students who are there, trapped in the situation, can tell the nature, what they go through. In fact, the fear of what they are going to go through that they've not gone through sometimes can be worse than what they go through, what they see physically. So government is doing everything, and from what the report is saying, from tomorrow, they'll begin evacuation, which is a good thing. So let's see how it goes. 5,500 students.
That's a lot.
Is a
because
lot of
even
number.
the government was saying that because of that huge number, it makes it also difficult.
Yeah, it makes it challenging.
If you have had something like maybe 20, 100 persons, it's easier to evacuate them. But to say 5,500, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That the government has to deal with, to look at how safety first is what the government is saying they are considering. And that is why they are not swinging into action as quickly as possible. They need to ensure that Nigerians that they will be evacuating are safe and they get home safe to their families.
But in addition to that, because we also understand government has set up a committee.
Yes.
There should be a template for this kind of issues.
Right, and then communication should be done as regularly as possible to send some level of assurance to this person that we are working. It's not that we are leaving you there stranded. We are working on these things to get you out safe.
There should be a template for that under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also NIPCOM.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.